26th of December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. Are we starting?
I guess so. 116v5.
Sounds right. Ah.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. How we doing?
That's technology, it doesn't always work. Okay. Okay. Now we're on that. This is that. And this is this. And
We're up to the Mishnah, aren't we? On 116v5.
okay, welcome back. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Okay, so yeah, so let's take a look at this. We went through this Mishnah I think yesterday at the end of the day. And so let's try to take a look at it again. We'll read the Mishnah. There's Rashi's on the Mishnah as well, which we didn't see yet. I don't think so. In any case, let's take a look at the Mishnah with the Rashi again, and we'll go from there. So, Alan, would you like to read the Mishnah?
Sure. 116v5, the top.
Yes.
Mishnah. One steals a field from his fellow.
Right.
Hagodel, Del, Soder, Michaviro. Is that it?
Right. That's it.
If one steals a field from his fellow, una to luhor masikin, an extortionist masikin, then take it from him. For example, a robber, this is a law. In the case if it is a province-wide plague, meaning that the extortionists have appropriated the field of others as well, omolo, the robber says to the owner of the field, hooray shall for nechor, behold, what is yours is before you. That is to say, he is not liable for the loss of a field. But if the field was taken on account of the robber, the robber is obligated to provide the owner with another field.
Okay. Okay. So those are the two cases. Those are the two dinim. I mean, right. There's really one case, and the question is that a epidemic that's happening in this area? That there's some extortionist who's taking away people's land? If so, then the original robber that denied him of his land doesn't have to give him doesn't have to provide him with another field. He can just say, "Here's your field." But if it's not something that's happening all over, it was just an isolated incident that this extortionist came and took it away from the robber. So then the robber would have to provide the one that he robbed a new field. Okay, let's take a look at Rashi.
In the first Rashi, Hanatlo seeking, these Masikim. And seeking the Anashim Gazolot mean Hagazlan. These are people who like steal from the thief. They're robbers from the robbers.
Gazluhu mina Gazlan, yeah. Anosim. Okay.
Then the question is this happening? Is it all over the place? Is it a Makat Medina? It's a plague across the whole country. The Ansot Arata, they've stole land. The arena that others, the Hayich. Not quite sure what's going on that they stole from others.
Okay. Let's see, I have a correction over here. Oh, the unsu. Okay, just take out the hay, the unsu. Okay, so Rashi is dealing with the question of the Mishnah saying if it's a Makas Medina. Makas Medina means this is a prevailing situation in this locale right now? This is not an isolated incident. So now Rashi is focusing in on what the Mishnah is referring to, because really there's two things that happened over here. One thing is happening is that Gazel number one gazeled it from the owner of the land. That's one thing that happened, and then after that, so then comes the mafia to take it away from the ordinary robber. So what is when the Mishnah says if this is a Marcus Medina, so then he could say the robber number one could say Ariel Shalcha Lefanecha. What is the Rashi is focusing in on which of these two occurrences is the Mishnah referring to? Is it referring to the fact that robber number one robbed the land from the owner, or is it referring to the fact that that the mafia is very active over here in this region now, and they are extorting land from people who've taken it from the owner? What is it referring to? I think that's what Rashi's issue is, and let's see if we could work that out. If that matches the language that Rashi's saying over here, Makas Medinahi, the Ansuhu, right? We're talking about the mafia over here. That's the way Rashi described the Masikin. The Gemora is saying Notlu Masikin. the Masikin took the land away from the robber. And Rashi calls the Masikin anosim in the first Rashi. So here he's continuing to use that word, the ansu, that they extorted, and it comes from the word onus, like they forced him, they forced him off the field. The ansu, arasa, the achrini, right? That they are forcing, they're forcing him, arasa dachrini, the land that belongs to somebody else, udeheach. I don't know why Rashi used both achrini and heach. I guess he means to refer to the first two people. One of them is the original owner that legitimately is the owner of the property, and then he's referring to the person who gazelled it from that person. And so what the Marcus Medina is that you have the third person or organization, if you will, who's taking the property away from the one that took it from the one that owns it. If that is something that's happening recurrently in this locale, so then the halacha will be that the robber, the original robber, will not be responsible to replace the land. Okay. Oh, and then the next Rashi is just Rashi says imakmas hagazlin, but
for the next part about the Goslin, then it just says if the robber did it, then it'll explain for Reish, but the Gemara is going to explain that. So he's not answering anything right now.
Yeah, but that's the case where, in other words, he's also really forcing. He's also forcing. What is he doing? How do you steal land? Land cannot be stolen. What does it mean that you steal the land? It means that he forces the person who's possessing the land off the land. And he's forcibly denying him the right to his land. So if the reason, in other words, if the only reason why the owner is not on the land is due to the okay, like as you say, the Gemara is going to explain. Makmas Gazlin. Okay, the Gemara is going to explain. Okay, fine. Let's take a look at the Gemara now. Amar Rab Nachman bar Yitzchak, Mandatani. Okay, Roy, you're up. Would you like to read?
Gemara discusses an alternative reading to the Mishnah. Omer Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Ma'ain de Saini, Misikin, Lo, Mishtabesh. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said the one who taught the Mishnah as reading Masikin was not in error. The Umain, the Sonai, Matsikin, Lo Mishtabesh, and the one who taught the Mishnah reading Matsikin was not in error. Both are viable readings are Masikin and Matsikin. Matsikin. How do you say? The two, yeah. Rav Nachman Bar Yisrael explains, main, the Sanai, Tikin, Mishtabesh, the one who taught the Mishnah's reading Matsikin was not in error because it is written B'matzah or Matzik, you will eat the fruit of your womb under the siege, and the matzok, oppression, that your enemy will oppress you. So the Art Scroll says, we see that the word matzok and likewise its cognate matzikin connotes oppression. Accordingly, the reading in the Mishnah that identifies extortionists as matzikin is perfectly viable. Amain, the Tanya, the Tane, Masikin, Lo Mishtabesh, Diksiv, and the one who taught the Mishnah as reading Masikin was also not in error because it is written Yeresh Hatzlasol, all your trees and the product of your land, and that so the locust will inherit. Sakar, Umusargamil, no, Umusargamil, no, Yachnei, so much, and we will translate Telatzal as follows: the Sakar will inherit. All right, we see, says the Art Scroll, we will see that locusts, whose existence is one of thievery, are called Sakar. It is therefore proper to call thieves who extort the property of others by a similar name of Masikin. There's some tongue twisters for me there. Someone else might be able to do better, I'm sure.
Okay. The very interesting okay. Interesting. So basically, Reb Nachman Bar Yitzchak was dealing with the fact that there seems to be two different texts of our Mishnah that are being circulated and learned in the world at that time. Our girsa is the girsa of Masikin with a samach. That's what we have in our printed Gemora. Natlu Masikin with a samach. But Reb Nachman Bar Yitzchak is telling us that in fact there was also extant a different text that instead of saying Masikin with a samach, there was Matsikin with a tzadi. And he says that both of them are valid. We cannot say that one of them is valid and the other one is an error. We cannot say that. Which was the one that was in Rabbeinu HaKodesh's in his text? That we don't know. that we're not getting into. But he says I can't choose between this one and that one. Both of them are valid. They both refer to someone who's an oppressor, someone who is an extorter, a thief, a robber. So they both of them are well founded. even though one of them is obviously correct and the other one is not. But that we're not getting into. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's go. We have a Rashi actually. Dibra Maskil Slatzal.
So
Arbet Gazlanhu. Sha'ochel Tavus Kol Adam.
Arba. This is the Arba. It's not Arba. It's Arba. Arba is locust, grasshopper type things. Gazlan who or the robbers who. Sha'ochel Tvuot called on. They eat the grain of everybody.
Right. So the Gemora said that Saka is the Aramaic translation for Arbe. Yaxeninu Arbe. Yeah, it is Masik. Masik. Yeah, so we call. Okay. So in other words, the translation of in the Chumash it says Yoresh Hatzlatzal, that the Tzlatzal will inherit, and that Tzlatzal is the Arbe, and the Aramaic is Saka, whatever, and he'll inherit. So we see that that tells us that Masik means a thief, a robber, because that's what we call an arbit. And Rashi's explaining why are you calling this locust a robber? Oh, did you read the rest of that? Arbe Gazlanhu.
Yeah.
The locust, he is a robber. Why is he a robber?
He eats all the grain.
He eats grain that belongs to other people. He's a gazlan. So that's why we call him this uncomplimentary title. We call him a sakat, which corresponds to the word masik, which corresponds to a extortionist and a gazlan. Okay. All right. So, okay, now the Gemara is going to get into our issue of what happens if it's imachmas hagazlan, then he's chayv. And Gemara wants to know what's this case all about. Okay, so Lou, are you there?
No, I'm not here.
Lou's not there. Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
I got it. You were below the radar over there.
Yeah, I had my head down. I'm still recovering from being sick.
Bush Lema.
Amen. All right, so where are we? 116 B5, or did you move to B6 already?
No, B5.
We're on B5. We're on the left side, the Mishnah state at the bottom paragraph.
The Mishnah stated?
On the left side, on the
Oh,
left
I see it. I
paragraph.
see it. Im machmas hagazlan chayev. If it was on the count of the robber, then he's obligated. This is what the Mishnah stated. If it was on the count of the, I'm just looking at the Mishnah.
Yeah, because the Mishnah gives two choices over here. It says if the scenario was Makas Medina, so then if it was something that was prevalent, so then the Gaza number one can say, "Here's your land. Go and take it." He doesn't have to give him any more land. Doesn't have to replace the land that he stole. But then the Gemara says he makmas a gazlan. But if it was due to the gazlan, so then the first gazlan would be chayav lahamidlo sada acher. He's got to replace the land that he stole with a different land. So what we need to know is, what does it mean makmas a gazlan? What are you talking about? Are you talking about it was an isolate? That's the way I translated it. That's the way I understood it. That even though it was stolen by another Gazlan that stole it from Gazlan number one, but he's not. There was an isolated occurrence. It's not a Makas Medina type of a situation, and that for some reason is called Makmas Gazlan. But really, what we have to do really is to does the Gemara understand that that's clearly the situation, and that's what it's calling it? And we want to know, why is it so that he has got to replace it in that case? What's the difference whether it's prevalent or not? We'll see. We'll see what the Gemara's issue is. Let's see.
Hachidami. What is the case? Ilema de nasuya la'ar dide. If you will say, it's where he extorted the field. Below Anasuha Bule are Asa. But he did not extort all the fields. You want to say that it's I guess there's a case where there's multiple fields, and
yeah.
he I'm not sure what it means when it says extorts. I would say that if he steals.
Okay, so that's the way the Mishnah is distinguishing between Gazlan number one and Gazlan number two. The Gazlan number one is called Gazlan in the Gemara. Hagozel sode michavero.
Right.
That's what it says in the Mishnah. And then it says Venotluhu Masikin. And it was taken from him by Masikin. And so now the Gemara is using a third terminology. The Gemara is using a terminology of ansuha, which was the terminology actually that Rashi used to attribute the act of the second Gazlan, who the art scroll is translating as the extortionist. In other words, there's the way the art scroll is translating. There was first a Gazlan that gazled the property from the first person. And by the way, when we say karka einad exelis, we mean to say that we mean to convey the idea that karka cannot be stolen, meaning to say it is where it is. It's always there. It's always recoverable. you just have to get the guy off it, and the owner, the original owner, is not miyayish. He doesn't despair of getting his land because he sees that it's right there. It's just in the hand of somebody who's withholding it from him.
Right.
But when somebody is a goslin, he gozles the land from the owner. What does that mean? It means exactly that he is successfully keeping the owner off the land, and he's maintaining possession of the land against the will of the owner. And now a third guy is coming, or a group of hoodlums, whatever they are, and they're extorting they're extorting or forcing the first goslin off the land. So if you ask me, I don't know exactly what the big difference is between the first guy and the second guy. But we see the terminology in the Gemora. We're using, the first guy is called the goslin, and the second guy is called that he's the anus, anasin. Rashi says anasin gazlu mina goslin. There were extortioners that forced the goslin off the land. And so now, after all of that, when the Gemara says ilema de ansuha ara didei, ansua, I think it's referring to goslin number 2, who's gosling it from the goslin number 1.
Okay. So ilema, if you will say de ansuya, that it's where the second goslin la'ara d-day, that the second goslin took possession of the land, I guess. La'ara d-day, it was his land.
Yeah. Ansua actually is a verb. If you say that he, meaning the second guy, was ansua, that he forced the first guy off of ara didei, velo ansua kule ara. He forced this guy off of his land, but he didn't force kule ara.
All the fields.
He didn't do that to all of the fields that there was. That presumably were owned by different owners, other than this person that he forced off.
So does that mean the first thief can go settle on another piece of stolen land?
Can the first thief go and settle on another piece of stolen land? No, he's not allowed to do any of this. Wow. Not following you.
Well, when it says that the second thief, he forced the first thief off of one piece of land, but not all the pieces of land. So that implies to me that there's other pieces of land that the second thief is not affecting.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by the expression ara didei, off of his land. Is it his land because he stole it from the guy who really owns it, or does it mean his land because it's actually his land? He is the owner.
That's my problem also. That's this phrase ara didei is throwing me a loop.
And there is no Rashi.
Right.
Ansu ara didei below ansu kule ara ha miresha Shamas Mina.
So in the Resha, we learn it from the first clause. I don't know. I'm totally confused.
Imakas Medina. He. Okay, basically, the structure of the Gemara is we're asking Heichidami, what exactly are we talking about over here? The Gemara is also quite confused about this, about what's the din of this Mishnah. And it says like this. We're trying to figure out what the Mishnah means when it says imachmas hagazlan. That's what we're trying to figure out. So the Gemara, which is the seifa of the Mishnah, the reish of the Mishnah is imakas medinahi. That's the reisha, and the din of the reisha is that the Gazlan number one can say to the owner, Harei shelcha lefanecha, I don't have to give you any replace your land that I stole from you and then was stolen from me. The Seifa says, but in Makmas Agazlan, but if it's a case of Makmas Agazlan, so then Gazlan number one is Chayev Lahamidlo, Sada Acher. He's required to provide the original owner with a replacement field. So we want to know what exactly is the case, Heichidami, of Machmas Agazlan. So we're trying to figure that out. And the Gemara says, well, what it means is Ilimad Ansu Ara Didei Velo Ansu Kule Ara. From the din of the ratio, we could understand that what the din would be. Imakas Medina, he. We wouldn't need to have a seifa. The reason why we got a seifa is because the seifa is telling me a din that we would not know from the ratio. So what we need to know, though, is what is the case that the Gemara is positing as the case, which is Makmas the Gazlan. The Gemara is saying if this is the case that Makmas the Gazlan is, so then we don't need the Seifa at all to tell us that we don't need this. We don't. It would not be a different din than the din of the Reisha. Hamereisha Shmas Mina. We would learn from the Reisha the din in that case. And the din would be that it's Makas Medina, and he wouldn't have to replace any land. The Gazlan number one.
I think we're out of time, Rabbi.
We're out of time. Wow, we did really good. Both the classes. We got no idea what is going on.
Okay.
Wow.
Right, well,
be well. Good luck.
have a good day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lucy with 4.
Everybody have a good day.
Okay, Alan, see you at 4.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much, Rabbi Levitt.
Bye.